Hi, I'm Gabriel Hernandez, and this is Watcher DM. Today we're going to be covering the adventure guide for Warlock Joe's Tower of Power. This is our first adventure from the Warlock Joe series, written by Jesse Brown, with art by Paul Brown. It's a nice 5-room dungeon designed for a group of 4 adventurers of about 3rd level. Before we get into it, I'd like to ask you to like and subscribe, and hit the bell icon if you want to be notified when new adventure guides and other videos come out on this channel. Also, if you like our work, you'd like to support us, please go check us out on DriveThruRPG, itch.io, or on WatcherDM.com, where you can purchase any of our modules or any of our merch. Alternately, you can go support us on Patreon, and we want to thank all of our patrons right now for their continued support. And on Patreon, you'll get access to some of our new unpublished works, including Faraday, a science fantasy world built for a number of gaming systems. All right, Warlock Joe's Tower of Power. Let's dive right into it. So, as always with the Warlock Joe series, the protagonist or antagonist or the entry to the whole thing is Warlock Joe, Josiah Darksoul. Constructing a character around this being, this wizard, is really useful if you're going to use these adventures. Make sure he's got a funny voice. Make sure he's pretty self-aware. He's a nerd about building dungeons, so he probably has more in common with you than anyone in the party. He will introduce the group to this tower and is like, come try out my new tower. The tower is 150 foot tall, and it is 50 feet on each side, just up from the ground in the center of a clearing. It is windowless, unadorned gray stone, but above the front door in garish red sign says Warlock Joe's Tower of Power. He has a illusory projection that comes out and casually asks the PC level. He should wince when they answer, like you're never really high enough level for these, but tells them they'll probably be fine and closes the door behind them as soon as they get inside. The walls, ceiling, and floors are all 10 feet thick and reinforced by magic walls of force, so you really can't get out. Unless it's otherwise stated, the rooms are 40 foot by 40 foot by 20 foot, stone room, dimly lit with flickering blue magical light. There's a steel ladder up to a locked trapdoor leading to the next area, and each room contains a key to progress, but the trapdoor can be forced open or it's lock-picked by DC 15. Area 1 contains magma mephits that are hiding as pools of magma on the floor. So once the party goes for the key, which is wooden, they'll be attacked by magma mephits. The wooden key will burn up unless the party can use it quickly. This is the conundrum, right? Is give the party a key, they basically have to protect from fire monsters that are trying to kill them. They can, of course, just flee and get, like, I think magma mephits are relatively slow. So they should be able to get away and get up the ladder if they need to. Have them fight or whatever. But yeah, getting up that ladder and into the next room, they find themselves in a hot tub room. It's hot tub tension. It's a big steamy room. It's taken up by a large hot tub. There's only a narrow walkway around the edge. On one side is a pair of fishy-looking humanoids. I like to describe them as reverse mermaids. So they're like humanoids, but they're the fish on top. A pair of blue-tinged, pointy-eared humanoids sitting on the other side. Now, of course, these are the Hagwin and Tritons, or Sea Elves, and the tension in this place is palpable as these two do not like each other. There's also a reef shark, a giant seahorse, and then there's 4 steam mephits that are present, but they're just kind of keeping the hot tub running. On each side is a gently swirling portal the party can use to get to the other realms, so they can go to this realm of the Sea Elves or the realm of the Sahagwin, and of course they can go through those as well. And yeah, he has invited both of these parties to come here and enjoy the hot tub without telling them the other is showing up, and the hot tub is affected by a permanent zone of truth. So everybody in the room will be as honest as possible. There is a silver key hidden beneath the bubbling waters, and you can convince them to find it for you if you can convince the other side to leave. Otherwise, you can spend 15 agonizingly awkward minutes groping blindly for the key underwater. So once you can unlock this is like a role-playing area, largely. It can burst into fight, but it's fun to just kind of have the two sides of the sea peoples hashing it out with one another in a zone of truth. In Area 3, there is a Balor demon. This room appears to be the kind of occult laboratory covered in pentagrams and other esoteric symbols, but there isn't much time to ruminate on that, because at the center of the room stands a massive, winged, horned demon, howling an abyssal and thrashing against invisible walls with a flaming whip and a crackling sword. On the floor and the ceiling, it is an elaborate occult glyph clearly the focus of a binding spell of significant power. The gold key that unlocks the way forward sits on a pedestal next to an open book, which explains how to disable the binding spell and release the demon, though critically not how to banish it back to the abyss. When a PC approaches the pedestal, a projected image of Joe appears and asks them if they're going to release the Baylor. If they do not, he taunts and heckles them mercilessly, even telling them it's just an illusion and pointing out how fake it looks. The demon in the center of the room is an enraged Baylor. It is not an illusion. If released, it will definitely attack the PCs, fighting for one round before departing. So if you are interested in exposing your party to a Baylor, this is like a chance to do it. You may want to telegraph to your party that this is in fact a real Baylor and that they should be able to make checks against Warlock Joe to see if he's lying. Give him a chance in hell. But if this Baylor gets loose, have him show up in your campaign later. He has been set free and is a problem that has to be dealt with. Area 4 is the boss room, and I'm air quotes boss on that. The room is full of torn paintings, broken tables, stained couches, and other ruined grandeur. A skeletal knight in old armor sits slumped in a four-legged wooden throne on the far side of the room. It clutches a longsword and wooden shield with a unicorn heraldry. Atop its head sits a tarnished helm. A fiery glow emanates from its eye sockets and mouth. Around its neck hangs a heavy iron key. When the PCs approach the skeleton, there is a shudder of movement, and a giant fire beetle, the source of the red glow, climbs out of the skeleton's torso and scurries away, knocking off the skull and sending the knight falling unceremoniously onto the floor. The PCs can flip the knight over to get the key, and when they do that, that's when the real trap is sprung. The knight's equipment will come to life and attack the PCs. So it's an animated armor, a flying sword, and 3 animated objects per the animated object spell, which is a helm, a shield, and a throne. If subdued, the helm is a badly damaged helm of brilliance containing only 1 ruby. So it's a magic item the party can take with them. And then Area 5 is the treasure closet and treasure room. The area is bare, 10-foot by 10-foot room with a single treasure chest. On the wall behind the chest are painted the words, "You won, please leave the way you came in." The chest is protected by a trivial lock that can be picked or smashed without difficulty, but opening it activates an alarm that plays an explosion sound effect on loop for 10 seconds. So yeah, this is again Warlock Joe being kind of a stooge and trying to antagonize the party. The chest contains a fully charged wand of secrets, accompanied by a note from Joe explaining what it does. This is a note you'll see in a lot of these adventures where Warlock Joe, if he wants a party to have a magic item, he will include a note explaining what the magic item does so that they don't have to cast Identify. So he is a nice guy in that way. If the Wand of Secrets is used here, it will reveal a secret door just behind the chest. Of course, the party can find that secret door any other way, but the Wand of Secrets is a way to find it, and the illusory wall is dispelled by just touching it. Beyond it is a pitch black room affected by magical darkness. If they step into that room, the darkness is dispelled. This is kind of the rest of the room, so they were in like a 10-foot by 10-foot box inside of this room. And in this larger outer room, there are 3 large chests with a portal circle on a slightly raised dais. The room is only empty for an instant because the celebration begins immediately. A programmed illusion displays a crowd of people clapping and cheering for the PCs. There should be some triumphant music and some flashing words in the air that read, "Congratulations, you won! Please leave through the portal." The cheering continues for 5 minutes unabated and then turns off for 10 minutes. If the PC enters the room again after 10 minutes, the celebration animation plays again in full. This is just kind of indicate that this is like a self-resetting funhouse dungeon. The tests are unlocked and they contain a ring of reaction, a ring of jumping, and a ring of x-ray vision, each accompanied by a note explaining what they do. And yeah, if they use the Wand of Secrets here, it will reveal that there is a secret trapdoor on the ceiling. The ring of x-ray vision shows the internal mechanisms of the trapdoor, a pressure-sensitive button that will release a latch, causing the trapdoor to open. So the ring of jumping can help the PCs reach the button, and then beyond the trapdoor is a secret short ladder to a hidden 6th floor. However, the first person to touch the ladder is affected by stone to flesh, DC 21, which won't be a problem if the person using it is wearing the ring of free action, but if they aren't, yeah, this is kind of a jerk move. You may want to give your party a way out of this one. Turning somebody to stone is generally considered a dick move. But it happens here. If they go up there, it is Area 6. This is the Dungeon Custodian. This is an encounter with the person who kind of runs the place. And so it is a 40-foot by 40-foot room and is the final floor of the tower, invisible from the outside. Unlike the mostly plain gray stone rooms below, This room has windows and is highly personalized, tiled with volcanic stone, carpeted with the fur of exotic beasts. Rather than a dim blue flame, the room is lit by brass braziers magically suspended in the air and smells like incense. A beautiful 10-foot tall horned woman with jet black skin and fire red hair, dressed in a silk kaftan, sits at a desk reading a report. And so, yeah, this is the Afridi contracted to manage the tower. The superheated pipes in the walls connect to other rooms, which she can traverse while reduced or gaseous, which are two of the abilities that an Afridi has. When she sees the PCs, she will sigh deeply and, speaking Ignan, ask them what they're looking for and why they've entered what is so clearly not meant to be accessed by adventurers. If nobody can understand Ignan, she'll cast tongues. She wants the PCs to go back through Area 5 and leave through the portal. She'll explain that she's employed by Josiah. If they irritate or attack her, she'll respond with violence, summoning a fire elemental. If they really piss her off, she'll plane shift home and return 10 minutes later with her 6 brothers. If they're polite, she will toss them a scroll of Conjure Elemental from her desk as a reward for finding the secret area, and then tell them to leave right away because she has a lot of work to do. Also, I'm pretty sure an Afridi can cast Wish, which, if one of your party members has been turned into stone, this would be a good way to get that removed. This might be a way out of that stone turning thing. That's the adventure. Warlock Joe's adventures, as always, are tongue-in-cheek, self-aware. Your characters are dealing with the fact that they're in a Dungeons & Dragons game, which can be a little fun. It's a little on the nose, and it can be a really great way to explore the genre with people who are kind of new to it and maybe know the tropes and want to see that in action while just having a good time with friends. It can be really, really fun. They get, I think, a magic potion and a non-magical pin that reads, "I survived Warlock Joe's Tower of Power," if they leave and talk to the illusion. And yeah, that's it for this adventure. I hope that if you got to play this adventure and had any feedback or wanted to tell your version of how things went down, you would go ahead and put them in the comments below. Otherwise, please sound off down there with anything else you'd like us to know as we read all the comments. Thanks again for watching all the way to the end. I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Stay weird.